next speaker will help us understand exactly how to do this and more. Therefore, it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Shailaja Joshula. As the Senior Vice President and Global Head of BFSI for Cognizant's Intuitive Operations and Automation, Shailaja manages delivery for top-tier clients worldwide and drives strategic growth. She also serves as the Center Head for Cognizant Hyderabad, showcasing her exceptional leadership. Please join me in welcoming Shailaja Joshula to the stage.
Okay, I'm going to test. Okay. Can you all hear me all right? Right at the back. I didn't realize it's such a long kind of place. So I was listening to Raghu very intently, right? And I was hoping that we keep the same theme, but we don't kind of repeat. So mine is more of a simple flavor. I want to talk about how AI is project managers' new best friend. And why do I say that? Okay, can you all tell me how many of you have a smartphone? Can I see hands up? Smartphone, yeah? Okay, how many of you have two phones? How many of you have tablets, iPad, Samsung? Okay, how many of you still have a Tata Sky or a DTH? I saw like 10 hands. How many of you have OTT? Netflix, Prime, AHA. Now can somebody tell me, in what time frame did we get all these? Smartphones, OTT? Last 5 to 7 years? Yeah? When I started working in 96, I know I used to use the dial-up internet connection. I don't know how many of you, the younger ones who are sitting will say, I don't know what she's talking about. But some of us will remember that fax tone internet, right? Yes. And then that's where, when I put my email, people say, how come you got the email? I said, no, I was one of the first to get my email, so I could get my full email. The point I guess I'm trying to make is, we all talk about S-curves, right? That there are various ways in which we are constantly adapting. As human beings, we have adapted. Again, I want to kind of bring up something. How many of you use Google Maps? But how many of you used Google Maps when you went to college? We went to college, right? It was not there, but we were okay, right? We used to go to college. Our parents knew exactly where we were. We were able to communicate on telephone, right? There was a time when I used to remember all the telephone numbers because there was one telephone in the house and there was one telephone in every house. Now I don't even remember my second number. I have to look it up. What's your phone number? Excuse me, I'll check and tell you, right? I think I am a huge admirer of the fact that humans, we are the biggest adapters. And that's how we have become the most powerful species on the planet. So as a new invention and innovation has come in, we have adapted ourselves and we made it our best friend. The latest iPhone, I have an iPhone 14 Pro. I'm told that that phone has more computing power than what it took to put the first satellite onto the moon. Have you heard that? The computing power we have in our hand phone, and I know I don't use it, is more than the power used to put it into the moon, to put a satellite into the moon. That is how much the computing has come. And I'm not a technologist like Raghu, so I won't even go there. But I'm just a user. I'm a consumer of it. So now as project managers, how can we consume? How can we make AI the best friend? I guess that's the theme of what I'm trying to do. I also believe I'm between the break. So usually conversations between the break and another chat are not easy. So I'm now trying to move to the next one. So my theme is, how is AI the best friend? What are the key takeaways based on what I just said, right? This is an AI revolution. It is here, it is now. It's not something that, okay, I'll see 5 years down the line. No, it's absolutely happening, right? It is not a threat, it's an opportunity. How do we capitalize on it? How do we ride this wave? How do we learn? I think one of the things I like the expression Raghu said, he said, look, if we don't use it, then project managers who use will take over. So everybody who's able to utilize AI effectively will become an expert at what they're doing. And how can it help? So there are some real life examples that we picked up from the literature that I want to share with all of you. So before we do this is a bit of a complex slide and I want to pick this thing. By the way, one disclaimer, I was with Cognizant. I'm currently with EY. The views presented in this are purely mine, not that of EY, not that of a Cognizant. So I just want to kind of put that disclaimer there. As project managers, you all know how important it is to call risks and dependencies and constraints. So I'm just doing that. These are my views, and everything presented here is in the public domain. There's no proprietary information in my slide. So with that, so this is a study Cognizant, my previous employer, launched with Oxford. And what they tried to do is, hey, how is AI going to disrupt the various jobs? So classic consulting style, right? We pick up 2 by 2. So what we did, we picked up on x-axis what we call friction score. Friction score essentially means the amount of disruption it would cause to somebody's career. Like what I'm doing today, how much will AI disrupt my career? And then how much do I have to upskill, reskill myself to be able to survive with that? That's the friction score. The high friction score, it means high difficulty to find a new job unless you completely reskill yourself. That is the x-axis. The y-axis is the exposure score, which means by what percentage can AI automate or eliminate high value tasks in what I do. The word is high value tasks, not the mundane tasks. The mundane tasks, anyway, automation takes care of it. You don't need AI for it. The high value tasks in what I do today as a job, how much can AI eliminate them or take care of them? That is the y-axis, which is the exposure score. And there are various job codes based on the US Labor Department that were analyzed. So on the right, you see a series of them. So for example, the one which is a big bubble there is management. And that's all in sundry. Where is management here? Management sits right here. The exposure score is 3%, which means not that high exposure. There are certain tasks in management that can be disrupted by AI, like summarization, research, right? Content generation, scheduling, summarization, all of that. However, their difficulty to find a new job is not that much. They're able to adapt quickly with the adoption of AI. I see this group fall in that. If you see, the biggest disruption is number 3, which is computer and mathematical. Most of your statistical analysis can be done by AI. Most of your analytics can be done by AI. So we have the set of individuals in this space who have to reskill themselves and adapt to living and using AI, right? That's how to interpret this. And the reason I bring it up is, if you see, a lot of jobs are still falling in low exposure score, but with those with low exposure, means when the exposure happens, the reskilling is quite big. And I want to call this out because nothing is left out here. If you see, number 7 is legal. Where is legal? Legal is somewhere here, which is where we are talking about contract management using AI, summarization, case management, case summarization. A lot of AI can help. But can AI become a lawyer? I doubt. Could AI fix this mic, which I took 5 minutes to fix? I doubt. Maybe I'll have a small intelligent thing that will come up and, it'll actually tune to my speech. So we want to kind of use this as also a means to look at, hey, where we stand. So if I look at a project manager's job, right, where does this disruption really come to life? And there was a survey done in project management, and the respondents said 21% of project managers said they're already using AI. And they're essentially using it to do research. They're using it to find out what's happening in the rest of the projects that we can emulate, etc. 82% of them feel that AI will have some form of an impact on projects, right? Which is true, which we agree with. There's another study that I was reading. It said almost in a day's job, 2 hours, 24 minutes of every day's work can be eliminated by AI. So we are looking at least a 30% productivity coming in managers because of AI. 91% of the project managers feel that there'll be a moderate impact on PMI, which we all know, right? But what is the impact and how do we raise this? Somebody asked the question, right? And I'm preaching to the choir here. How do we embrace AI whilst being mindful of these typical challenges that we see in project management. Projects are hugely complex, especially if I look at infrastructure projects. They are massively complex. You're looking at multiple components coming together, multiple agencies coming together, right? If you're looking at projects where we are looking at, say, town planning, that's massively complex because you're bringing in multiple sections of people together. We are talking of smart cities. How do we bring all the components together so that the whole orchestration becomes easy and disruption becomes very simple? I always look at project or anything, with this metaphor. How many of you have seen Formula One racing? Yeah? So imagine a car running at high speed. And project is like we are trying to change its tires, we're trying to change the chassis, we're trying to change its engine, we're trying to do the tuning because we want the car to go faster, right? But not on a stationary car. We are doing it on a car that is running already very well. That is how I see project management, that we have to kind of take care of all these components, not cause a disruption, but also ensure that the end result, which is the incremental benefit from doing this project, is achieved, right? All of us know we report on business cases and progress on benefit realization. Quality control is a big one. I think one of the post-pandemic challenges is managing teams remotely, but it was always there in project management. You'd agree with that. Remote teams is not a new concept, but how do we bring all this together, especially in a new world? Data security, which is privacy and compliance. So there are three ways we believe AI can help, right? First is the tactical stuff, which is what even Raghu said. They can be automated. So for example, how many of you have used Microsoft Copilot? Right? How many of you have used for the minutes by Copilot? Yeah? Actions by Copilot. I love Copilot because, especially in projects, one of the things that happens is, I wasn't aware, I wasn't informed. You've heard that? A key stakeholder in the last minute comes and says, I was not privy to that decision. I didn't know when you took that decision. I never agreed to it. I never signed for it. The beauty of a Copilot would be, it would actually call out the attendees of each meeting. Who were invited, who attended. You have a series of meetings. You can actually go back and say, hey, you were invited to every single meeting, you missed 5 of them. And these are the minutes of every meeting, which got sent out after every meeting. And these are the actions out of that meeting, which you are copied on. Now, isn't the role of a project manager, see, there's a big part of the role, which is reporting, data maintenance, scheduling, etc. But I feel the bigger role of a project manager, which AI can never take, is that of being a leader, communicating, influencing decisions, driving the right outcomes, making the right recommendation whenever we are at a fork, saying, hey, listen, if you do this, this is good for the project, these are the risks that come with it. If we do this, this is not necessarily the good thing to do, but this sits within our budget. Isn't that the dilemma we often face? Cost versus what we want to do. Somehow they always end up on the opposite sides of what we want to do, right? So for a project manager to be able to drive that sphere of influence, what is required is data. A lot of data and factuals. So Copilot, as an AI tool, again, it sits in the automation space. What is it doing? It is just automating your summarization, note-taking, minutes, action tracking, etc. Right? So that's, to me, the first step where AI can help us, tactical automation. Second one can be where AI can help us as an assistant. We all need an assistant. Hey, how many of you have a Google Home or an Apple Mini Pod or an Alexa device at home? Right? We've started using it, right? We will say, hey Siri, can you play that song for me? Hey Siri, can you set that reminder in my diary? Okay Google, can you just quickly look up and read to me what this is happening? What are you doing? You're using it as a personal assistant, especially with we trying to cram so much into our working days and the boundaries of a working day and the home getting blurred very much. We are relying a lot on personal assistant. So the AI tool can be your personal assistant. Hey, what are the tools that are due for today? What are the critical tasks that are due today? Which of the tasks are overdue today? Which of the schedule is actually running to plan and which of it has actually gone out of plan? Can you quickly do a summarization of my cost and budget? Am I tracking to budget? Have I exceeded cost? Which of the individual line items are already going over? Where is my resource utilization? See, AI is able to take that question, is able to look at your data and summarize it. And I want to kind of spend a little bit of time on data. We use it, we use data very, very loosely, right? Data is there everywhere. A project manager's data, SharePoint, Excel spreadsheets, Word documents. If you are using a project management tool, maybe a Clarity, a Power Steering, etc., your timesheets are typically in a Clarity, or you would use also tools like your tickets are probably in Jira. You would somewhere use ServiceNow. Somewhere there is an overarching workflow in the system. I don't know where that is, but workflow does not have already all your data. Some files are with you. Some files are with your finance. Some files are with your resource manager. Some files are with the actual department, whether it's a manufacturing department or an engineering department. They would have actually all your codes and your specifications and the BRDs and the contracts. First of all, to get all this data together is a big job, right? We get it, we put it together. Who is going to go through that? Again, how can you extract the information that you need very quickly from that data? Because sometimes when the stakeholder or the sponsor asks, you have to go and call, hey, I need this data very quickly. So that is where AI can be an assistant. Your assistant who can quickly go and say, listen, reference to this particular change is made in these 3-4 documents, right? Dated so-and-so, dated so-and-so, dated so-and-so. Which one do you want to pick? You know then, hey, when we have changed it, right? That's the second one. Now, where we are talking of advanced AI is augmentation. And that is where it is coming in to help us with our decision making. For example, a key task has actually moved on. So you suddenly say, okay, I have a delay in material being delivered. The delay is, say, 2 weeks. What does it do to my critical path? What does it do to my end state? What are the other dependent tasks that get impacted because this particular delivery is delayed? Today, what we would do, we would go and try to do on a workbench. We would try to redo a Gantt. Okay, how does the Gantt look? What are the dependent tasks? How much can I delay? And of course, we never delay, right? We squeeze everybody who is in the downstream. But AI would be able to tell you, hey, this is where you can squeeze and all that. We are looking at augmentation as probably where the entire intelligence will come in. But right now, we are looking at 3 areas where AI can help you, which is enhancing efficiency, productivity, data-driven decision-making, so that it's not based on biases or personal views, improved communication, your minutes go out, your actions go out, your summarization goes out, your project reporting goes out, your stakeholder reports go out, your costing reports go out to your... So you know that all this can be automated where you focus actually on the project and the deliverables and the change management. Of course, with augmentation comes customization. Each one of us has a different style of doing it. So how do you want to get AI to give it the way you want to see, right? And again, this is published, you all know, we've been talking about it. What are the low complex tasks that can quickly be automated? Summary notes, report generation, we spoke, right? Lessons learned. A little bit more where it can be assisting, we spoke about it, cost benefit analysis, ROI details, your schedule estimations, data set analysis, etc. And of course, where it can actually help us with decision making is your business case creation and your project-based decisions, especially when there is a change to scope or change to resources. But that's probably the advanced AI. Again, I'm preaching to the choir here. Our research says there are a lot of these tools. They're already coming in with a lot of this augmented AI. How many of you have used any one of them? Awesome. Right? Again, how can we customize this? How easy is it for us to use? What kind of a workflow is it coming to? And can anyone tell me, has it benefited or has it been cumbersome to use one of these? Benefited? I see that. And again, I go back to this, right? It's the same as how we use some of the tools that we do today. These tools have already got the AI set up. So if you're not already familiar with them, again, whatever your organization uses, it'll be great to kind of start picking up some of these and start to put our project schedules into this, get the project reporting into this, because it'll start to save some of the time, right? This is again a very published way. And I do want to kind of call out, right? Intelligence has always been there. Processing power has always been there. What now we are getting is what we call generative AI, which means it is able to respond to our questions in a human-like manner by processing vast amount of data. That has been the step change in terms of the AI journey, why we are now talking about it. So this is COIN by JP Morgan. JP Morgan have been pioneers as a bank, and COIN stands for Contract Intelligence. They've created a tool that is able to look at 12,000 plus new wholesale agreements, right? Which actually take about 360,000 hours. And with this tool, they've been able to do a lot of contract intelligence and automation. So they've been able to generate benefits because the contracts are being looked at very critically. Standardization is being driven, efficiency is being driven, and also they're able to get through these a lot quickly. So this is something that JP Morgan has developed, and this is a wide application of AI, very relevant in the context of project management. Similarly, there are about 6 use cases here that we pulled from the, this thing. Watson has been there. Again, they analyze rapid data sets, and also they generate arguments. So you want the pros and cons, right, for the various decisions that you want to take to your sponsors. This is able to put together the case for it. Accenture has been using it. Construction industry has been using it, especially where they are using AI coupled with IoT, which is the smart sections, to detect where the heavy machinery is, also to find out how best to do this for predictive maintenance. Right? So these are some of the use cases we have. Tesla, of course, we are doing that. Now, what are the risks here? And I always say this, right? This is like, I don't know how many of you have enabled AI on Google now? Google is the search engine, right? But have you had an example where it throws garbage? You ask some question, it comes back. I'll give a simple example. How many of you know Telugu here? So I was looking for the English name of Aga Karakai. Real life example, yesterday, because my mom loves it, right? And I'm unable to order it on Big Basket. But I found it in Ratandeep. Aga Karakai. Can somebody tell me the English name for it? Sorry? See? Problem. Sorry, what? No, it's Pine God. I did R&D. See, I don't leave it. Oh, OCD, right? So I then went around. Every time I say Aga Karakai, Google reads it as Kakarkai. It showed me Kakarkai. It then showed me Kakarkai seeds. Then it said I should kind of sow them because I can make Kakarkai plant. And I'm like, no, you're way off. This is intelligence. But wrong. So I had to go and find out what is Aga Karakai called in English. Then it said it's called spine guard. See, I learned something new. I didn't know that. I only knew bottle guard, etc. So then when I started looking for spine guard, then I realized there are seeds, but then the thing is not there. I still have to go to Ratandeep and buy. That's the second point. But the case in point is, just because there is intelligence, it doesn't mean it is right. We still need that human intervention to filter what's coming from the intelligence. And some of the challenges are there. What are the ethical and privacy concerns, right? I'm very concerned with all these devices of OK Google, Apple Mini Pod, etc., Alexa, because I don't want them listening to my conversation. I don't want them preventing, just I say, okay, I would love to take a holiday in Sri Lanka. The next thing I open my phone, tickets to Sri Lanka. I don't want that. That's creepy. I'm uncomfortable when that happens, right? So how do we kind of control the intelligence? Cultural adaptation. There's a different way in which we do projects in India, vis-a-vis probably how we do projects in Germany, as an example. How do we adapt that? Ongoing maintenance. See, intelligence cannot remain intelligent on its own. We have to start feeding additional data, and we need to teach it to remain intelligence. And of course, reliability and continuity, right? It's like the, how many of you followed the outage yesterday? Yeah, reliability and continuity. I think all of us in software services live by it, right? Something that we don't want. So I think those are some of the challenges, and I think our knowledge of AI will really tell us how to kind of overcome and how to use AI as an assistant, but not think that AI will actually take over the intelligence of project managers in this room. So a few things I wanted to bring, but I think just to kind of recap, AI is your friend, trusted friend, but sometimes can be stupid too, which is quite counterintuitive to its name. It is artificial intelligence, but sometimes it can be stupid if you don't train it right and if you do not give the right information. Use it to automate low complexity, repetitive tasks so that it starts to free up your time. Please treat it as your personal assistant. Your timesheets can be set up. Your project status reports can be automated. Your risk reporting can be automated. Your cost reporting can be automated. Your resource reporting can be automated. Those are not times where you want to spend time. You definitely want to spend time analyzing it. And this is where AI can tell you, hey, what's the trend? How much is my engineering department spending? How much is my for example, manufacturing department spending on this project. Is it in line with the budget? Is it exceeding? Or do I have a gap? What's the utilization of the resources who are on the project? Is it at the 85-90% or is it running at 70%? See, that is where you become more effective as a project manager, not when you start a report. Let it assist you in complex tasks, right? Like resource allocation. Resource allocation is a big deal. You have like hundreds of resources. Who is the best person placed to do this job, right? For us to remember the skill set of hundreds of people is very difficult. But AI can really help us and say, these people fit what you really want. And lastly, leverage it for high complex statistical and contextual jobs, but always remember the analysis, the decision, and the conclusion is with you. It's not with the tool. So with that, I want to conclude AI is a friend, and I hope we can leverage it. And there are a number of tools available in the market. And lastly, but I'd like to thank everyone for this opportunity. And I also think that I'm between you and T. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shelja, for those insightful words. You actually took us down the nostalgic memory lane. You started from fax machines, Google Maps, and right DTH, OTT, and right up to OK Google and Alexa. So I think you covered the entire spectrum. And I'll tell you a fun fact. You know, you were talking about AI being the best friend, and now OTT has actually become best friend for my dad. So it's actually spanning across generations, and it is actually true. So thank you for that. And in the interest of time, we'll go with one question for ma'am. Sure. If anybody has, please, we can pass on the mic. Yes.
Hello, Shailaja.
Hi.
Yeah, so I have a question for you. So I understand today's theme is about AI-powered project management for maximizing the outcomes. So what is the difference between natural intelligence and artificial intelligence? As we have been hearing a lot about AI in every aspect of life nowadays, especially from the last 2 to 3 years, not before that. So we have almost every day we hear about AI helping us in our personal lives, in our professional lives. But as they said, right, project management, AI-powered project management, and to what extent the AI has to be utilized for project managers, and what is the role of natural intelligence versus artificial intelligence according to you? Can you just throw some light on that?
Sure, I'll share my views, but I think the technical ones I'll defer to Raghu because see the way I see it, right? I don't know, how many of you have heard the Indian Jugaad? Try teaching that to AI. That's natural intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence is nothing but we are able to give huge amounts of data sets. See, the entire intelligence is coming from our quantum computing power, which means data that would take a long time to process, now it's getting processed in a matter of nanoseconds and microseconds. From the data, we are able to put together patterns. We are able to put models. We are able to put if-then analysis, right? And basis, and I'm oversimplifying it, it's a lot more complicated than that, but we are saying based on data, by recognizing patterns that are repetitive and that we have also reinforced. See, any intelligent tool, we do training, which means we are training the tool to give the right response, and we are teaching the tool when it gives a wrong response. So the training is a big part of any kind of an AI engine. But in that, what we are saying, hey, this data has to be interpreted this way. This data has to be interpreted this way. As we start doing it, the AI starts to go up in terms of its competency. But it's still being trained, and its intelligence is limited to the data it has. If you give it this much data, the intelligence is only on that data. Outside that data, it has no intelligence. Right? We are not like that. All the examples we spoke about, we adapt. We adapt every single day. We look around and we think and we process. We like to think, and this is a very favorite topic of mine, I'll digress, right? But we think we like to put everything into patterns. But the more we see the world, we know not everything can be put into a pattern. And we are okay with that. We are okay living with things that won't fit into a pattern. But we still are able to make a decision that works best with us, right? Knowing what little we know, sometimes without the entire data set also. We make decisions. Some of you have subscribed to gut feel, intuition-based decision making. We've taken that, right, without the data. So I don't think we can match both. One is a little bit more also biological, how everything works. One is basically the intelligence we are getting from a set of data. The bigger the data, the bigger the intelligence.
Yeah. So what according to you is more beneficial and powerful, natural intelligence or artificial intelligence?
Hey, listen, we are the ruling species on the planet, right? Good, bad, ugly has come with it, right? Unless we train the intelligence to reach a stage where we think it can do what we can, but remember the one who's training is us, right?
So, though, as you said, those are two different aspects. Natural intelligence has something more to do with thinking and thoughts, while artificial intelligence has something to do with machines and systems.
Machine systems limited to the data which is there, the more data we give, the more comprehensive. And Raghu, please feel free to chime in because I know this is an interesting debate, right? But we can. But I don't think we have to mix one with the other. But very interesting debate. The whole world is going through, and this is where probably, Sam Altman is also scared what's the next level of intelligence. But that's again for a tea break conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that lovely question, ma'am, and an even lovely answer. I loved the answer with Indian Jugaad. I am sure AI can't still handle that. And with that, can we please have a round of applause for Shelja?
Thank you so much.
And may I now request on stage Saujanya Yalisetti, General Secretary PMI PCC, to kindly present a memento to Ms. Shelja as a token of her appreciation. Let's put a hand together.
Thank you.